We named this concert also the 3 Bs. And it's not the buzzing bees, it's the B, B, and B. That is actually an invention of the Romantic period. And they, of course, tried to coin a phrase to kind of say, who are the greatest composers? And they agreed on 2. One was Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, actually, then Beethoven, and then the guy who actually came up with that phrase was a composer and a writer, also Cornelius. He said Berlioz was the 3rd B. And it was later on, it was a great conductor, Hans von Bülow, who said, no, it was not Berlioz, it's Brahms. And we're actually going to play a Symphonia by Bach's son, called Philipp Emanuel. It's a totally different generation. It's a different ballgame. At that time, the older Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, was from the Baroque era. Very complex music, had a spiderwebby, several lines moving at the same time, all parallel, and it's very difficult to follow along. His son, called Philipp Emanuel, was already the new generation. That was already the classical era, where everything was cleaned up. No excess music. It was very clean melodies, clean accompaniment. Brahms' Piano Concerto No. 1 was his first symphonic response to Beethoven. He always talked about this giant behind him and hearing his footsteps. And so it took him a long time to kind of even attempt writing a symphony. And his piano concerto was kind of the pre-symphony. Very symphonic in thought. Orchestra is very, very important. And right from the get-go, you can hear how he's really tackling Beethoven. And so it's very, very, very big. It's very dramatic. And the piano is almost like just a part of the orchestra, and the orchestra is big too. We have a great pianist to play the Brahms' first piano concerto, Hélène Grimaud, who is a wonderful interpreter of romantic repertoire. And when you have someone like Brahms, you need someone who transcends technique, where technique is just the means to project the deeper meaning of it, and that is the struggle of a young man, living up to the new standards that Beethoven established. When it comes to the Eroica by Beethoven, there are no superlatives that are too little or too big. The world of classical music after Beethoven's Eroica was not the same. He revolutionized not only writing, but also the way people, what you were saying with the symphony. Long gone, everything in the Mozart, the Haydn, writing for aristocracy. This was the time of the American Revolution, this was the time of the French Revolution. This piece was originally dedicated to Napoleon. He basically called it then Eroica, the heroic symphony, that the human being is now the center of the universe, basically. And that is a whole new concept as well. It was a concept of the Enlightenment as well, and it is one of those keystones, one of those key moments in musical history where everything changed. And the excitement that this piece leaves you with, I think, is perfect for ending a season that also had a very exciting beginning, and having Beethoven and Hélène Grimaud with Brahms at the end of the season. There's no better way going into the summer as with Beethoven's Eroica.